JP poll, brand new JP poll, has dropped tonight. Here we are on a Tuesday night in week 6. What do we think? Well, we know what the AP thinks, but these are not rankings. These are power ratings. These are neutral field favorability numbers that are spit at us by the model. And this is just how we would stack teams up based on how the model thinks they would be favored on a neutral field if they played tomorrow. And I can tell you controversy is about to unfold right here in the top 5. We've got a new number 1 team, but it's not Alabama. We've got Ohio State at number 1. Georgia is still at number 2. Alabama has bumped up, but only 1 spot. Alabama's at number 3. Texas is at 4 now, and Oregon's at 5. Couple of things you need to know. There is a 4-point gap between these teams right now. Very small gap. What we just had is a Georgia team that was favored by about 1 or 1.5 points go to Alabama and they lost. And that implied that they'd be about a 4.5-point favorite on a neutral field. That outcome did not shift the gap between those teams 4.5 points. So Georgia would still be a slight favorite over Alabama on a neutral field today. They may play on a neutral field down the road. So we'll see if the time comes. Texas at 4 is interesting because they didn't really drop in their power rating at all. Bama and Georgia are just above them. Like they just bumped up a little bit. So Oregon's at 5. They're virtually unchanged. Tennessee's at 6. Nothing really changed on the power rating there. I mean, I know good and well. Jesse, you know good and well someone's going to come in the comment section and say, how could we drop when we didn't play? The answer is you didn't. Your rating's the exact same as it was last week. We just had movement around you. Miami's at 7, unchanged. Is the model in the tank for Miami? Do we want to talk about that? Like, do we want to start a conversation? Because I watched Miami the other night. I was wholly unimpressed. Now, we do know that everyone's got to play their worst game of the year at some point, right? Maybe that was Miami's. Maybe they overlooked Virginia Tech. Maybe all these things are true. If that's true, we will see them shine on Saturday against Cal in what is a conference game, mind you. We've got a team in Coral Gables, Florida, traveling to Berkeley to play in a conference game. Fun times here in college football. It's all for the kids, though. It's all for the kids. So USC's up 3 spots to number 8. Clemson's at 9. Penn State is at 10. The big takeaway from here is Clemson is now, in the aggregate, about a point better than we had them in the preseason. And remember, they've got a huge loss, a blowout loss baked into that now. So good on Dabo, good on Clemson, maybe not going away so easily. Number 11 through 15, I still think Notre Dame's a little high, but the model's got them at 11. Ole Miss dropped 4 spots to 12. LSU still 13th. Ole Miss goes to LSU in a few weeks, by the way. Kansas State is up 2 spots to 14. I like where Kansas State is right now as a team. Louisville's 15. They are unchanged. Now at 16, probably the most important team in the country because it may very well be your Big 12 champ. Nothing's wrong with the audio. I just want to pause for effect. Iowa State, potential future Big 12 champ. I think I may have said Big 10. Big 12 champ is at 16. Kentucky is a massive riser. Kentucky jumped 9 spots to number 17. So now we've got the Georgia game, which wasn't an anomaly because now we got the Ole Miss game baked in as well. And Kentucky's all the way up to number 17. Iowa is right there. They're at 18. A&M and Missouri 19 and 20, and they play each other this week. And so what should we expect there? Well, as I told you, the model thinks it's razor tight. We got A&M and Missouri right there next to each other. We had a couple of matchups like that last week. How about 21 through 25? Utah's down 7 spots. Is Cam Rising alive? We don't know. Will he ever play again? We don't know. We cannot get dependable quarterback information out of Salt Lake City. So we have inserted the backup into the profile of Utah right now. When Cam Rising gets back, Utah would be, bumped up, but we had to manually downgrade because we don't know when the starting quarterback is going to be back. Indiana, Coach Sig, got him at number 22. Oklahoma, unchanged at 23. Rutgers, the AP is cowards. They will not rank Rutgers, but we won't either because these aren't rankings. But we will power rate Rutgers, number 24. And is everyone listening to me? And I especially, Colin, unprofessionally, I want to touch the mic there. I want to make sure that certain interests, certain people out there are listening to me. We've got Boise State in the top 25. Mr. Anti-G5 over here has Boise in the top 25. And you know what? Good for us for being brave enough to put the Broncos in the top 25. There is, to me, by far the biggest takeaway on this whole thing is there is not a lot of separation in the top 6, really. Ohio State to Tennessee, not a lot of separation. So if you're sitting here arguing someone's 2 spots lower or 2 spots too high, there is no separation. In fact, if it makes you feel any better, put Bama ahead of Georgia or put Texas ahead of both of them. There's not much separation at all. Home field, in the top 6, home field would make any of those teams a favorite over the other. Let me put it that way. Now, I do think that the odds market is going to disagree with me on that. Like, I think at FanDuel right now, you could go look at Bama, Tennessee. Bama, even at Neyland, slight favorite. The model may disagree with that. And you know what? In a couple of weeks, the time will come for us to break that game down.